Standing on the edge of the Indian subcontinent, and it really does feel as though I'm being pushed into the sea by 100 million people. But I've come here to see some highly specialised fishing skills and how people survive in the oldest existing civilization on the planet.
250,000 people live here. They're called the Vadabalija. They live on the Bay of Bengal in Andhra Pradesh on India's Coromandel coast. They are Hindus, a faith that's thousands of years old. I feel surrounded by a multitude of sounds, images and gods. It's a privilege to be accepted and blessed by one of their priests and to experience their ancient world of myth and ritual, with incense to purify. I feel welcomed into their culture. This is a very different place. I'm usually in remote, self-sufficient communities, but here the beach is home to a fishing caste. From birth, the local people survive by specialising in just one skill, and they rely on other groups for everything else. That's how the Indian caste system works.
This is the most intimate village I've ever stayed in. The people here live literally cheek by jowl. The strange thing is that the life either focuses here in the village or out at sea. Just 100 metres inland are totally different communities that these people won't even marry into.
One caste only tend palm trees. Another only weave baskets from the leaves. The surf of the Coromandel coast is dangerous. The riptides are lethal. Many people have been swept out to sea. Through their play, the children learn to be expert swimmers. Nowadays, plastic bags make great aids for body surfing, but traditionally it was always wood that kept them afloat.
The fishermen here are still using one of the earliest of all boats. You can see it in its most basic form here on these inland creeks. All it is a raft of logs lashed together. Mind you, they've been shaped at the ends to enable it to cut through the water better. Now with this, the fisherman has a stable platform on which he can float out far from the bank to cast his nets. This is the simple cast net, and to me it's the most elegant of all fishing nets. Its secret lies in this necklace of lead weights at its hem, which means that the rim sinks faster than the middle, ensnaring any fish beneath it. The fishermen here are real specialists in nets. They employ all sorts of designs for varying circumstances.
But to reach the rich fishing beyond the surf, they've invented a very special boat. It's not strictly speaking a boat with a watertight hull, more a raft of logs. The key to its success is a high prow, which lifts it over the surf. It's called a katu maram. which literally translated means logs tied together, and it's the origin of our word catamaran.
To get off the beach, you've got to get through that surf, and that means picking the right wave. Now, I've been watching these guys for a couple of days. They don't always get it right.
The waves come in cycles, a group of large breakers followed by smaller waves. The trick is to catch the last large breaker, which launches you out into the smaller waves that are coming in. Sometimes the men can wait for 15 to 20 minutes reading the waves. It's the most experienced man who decides when to go for it. A boat needs propulsion and steerage. Besides the paddles that get you through the surf, there is the big sweep paddle at the back, which doubles as both a rudder and an oar, propelling the boat forward. An important piece of equipment is this lateen sail.
About 13 years ago, an Australian surf expert and a Danish sailmaker were invited out here to see if they could improve this design. Well, they studied it for 3 years, and the conclusion they came to was there was no way of making it any better. Of course, when you've got a sail, you also have to have a centreboard, and that's right here.
The centreboard prevents the boat capsizing in strong winds. The crews hunt in pairs, trawling their nets between two boats. As they cast their nets out, they sail apart on opposite tacks, pulling the net out between them. They're using a trammel net to catch prawns. They'll trawl these nets through the sea for at least an hour. Then they'll lower their sail to reduce the tension on the net so that it can be hauled in. When not under sail, the rear oarsman still has to keep the boat underway to hold it on course. I can tell you, you need good sea legs to stay upright on these slippery logs. Finally, the two boats come together. This was their third trawl, but still no catch. That's been happening a lot this year. The boys serve an apprenticeship of 5 to 7 years before being accepted as fully fledged fishermen. Only then can they earn their share of the catch. Traders come to the village selling cooking oil to the women. This man is from a special caste that trains cattle. For only a small price, this bullock will tell your fortune.